Okay, I was surprised at the amount of criticism of this piece, and I had to just pick the thing that I heard the most and kind of go with that. And boy, I ruminated on this. So, only a rock? You know, I mean, I don't think so. So, in the first place, it's a question that seems to, you know, roll back the entire critical dialogue to something else. So, next slide. It seems like you have to ask, was it, you know, only a urinal? And I don't want to go there. I don't want to unpack all of that here. So I thought, well, you know, maybe what they're talking about is kind of like a hierarchy of objects where rocks really aren't doing all that well in the hierarchy. So I decided to do like a pyramid diagram of the hierarchy. Next slide. Anti-levitated mass hierarchy of objects. And you've got rocks at the bottom, all of those, so that includes Ezra's rock. All the other stuff, I didn't have time to deal with all of that. So, and I had to put something at the top. I was going to put God at the top, and no. But I thought Damien Hirst would be a good substitute. And that's partly because I was at the Damien Hirst show, at the retrospective at the Tate Modern a few weeks ago in London, and I was looking at this bull's head rotting with maggots on it and flies, and I'm saying to myself, is this above the rocks in the hierarchy, or is this below the rocks in the hierarchy? And then I couldn't answer that question, so I went over to the dot paintings, and I was listening to see, you know, like what people were saying, if they were saying what I was thinking, which is the next slide. It's only a dot painting, you know, and maybe it's because I feel like painting, you know, more is expected of painting. But so really, you know, it's like context is what creates, is what makes, you know, a rock or a urinal into something that we care about and want to exist. And so what do I like? Next slide. You know, I think it's okay. I mean, I heard so many mean things about this piece that when I went there, I thought it would be empty and there'd be like no one there. And I would be all by myself. It was packed, it was mobbed. I think it's okay that people seem to really like it. I mean, the whole thing is about the event of being under the boulder, of looking at it, of, you know, just, it's a, you know, the 70s earth art is about phenomenology. Next slide. I love the contours of the you know, decomposed granite and the way that it was smoothed over, and the steel sort of centering and presentation device that anchors the piece in the side. Next slide. And you can see the contours again here. I like the way it's not really treated as a precious thing. They don't bug you. You can ride your bike in, you can walk around it, you can stay until dark. It's not a big deal. And next slide. People love to touch it. I mean, it's like a magnet. This is a whole family of people. They couldn't take their hands off it. You know, it's a noble thing. It's a beautiful thing. Next slide. And you know, I mean, I think that what artists are doing other places and the other part of the work brings something to bear on the piece that you're looking at. This is a Google Earth screenshot of Ezra's city in the Nevada desert. I'm impressed. You know, I mean, I don't know who's ever going to go out there and see it and won't see it until it's done. And this is a 2010 done. Next slide. I'll just show those in the rebuttal.
All right. Thank you, Lane. Ezrha Jean, you have 4 minutes.
Okay. First of all, let's just clear the air about the art versus rock. It's not about whether it's it's art or it's mineral. It's definitely mineral. It might be art. Its placement and installation clearly are the stuff of art, though that hardly makes it art in and of itself. It merely invested with the trappings of art, which we might also call art direction, something we're very familiar with in Hollywood. Now you're bringing up Duchamp's urinal was very useful because that is in fact exactly what this rock is. First of all, it's not a rock that was sheared off of a mountain or a hill or anything like that. It was actually hewn from a quarry. And it has been in a kind of fortuitous manner, and then schlepped all the way here to Los Angeles, which is, of course, another part of the issue right then and there. But here's the thing, this rock, it was art as soon as Heiser set his eyes on it. It might have been fabricated, far more cheaply by someone else. Basically, what this is an assisted ready-made. Let's just call it what it is. Duchamp did his far more cheaply, and they've endured. This will endure too, whether as successfully, iconically, I'm not so sure. But speaking of the big schlep, we'll just call it the big schlep. This Via Dolorosa that the rock took from Riverside County to Los Angeles. This is relevant to this discussion because in part it's what are we getting for this experience? Is it a good experience? It might be. Actually, I kind of enjoyed it myself. But here's the thing. Looking at this in the context of land art in general, earthworks in general. First of all, is this the work? This is an encyclopedic museum we're talking about, LACMA. Our only encyclopedic museum in theory, unless we count the Getty, which is a little bit more precious. Is this the particular earthwork, land art that we want for the LACMA collection? There are a lot of things available to us, or maybe not so many things available to us. Govin has had his eyes on various things over the years, including Michael Heiser's. It may interest you to know that actually, in a way, this is not a unique object in a sense. There was a previous rendition of Levitated Mass, that is exactly what it is called, that was executed for the IBM building in Manhattan. And I sometimes wonder if that is what LACMA's acquisitions policy now devolves down to. Are we just in line for the sloppy seconds? Is that what it's all about for LACMA? But let's move on. Again, assisted ready-made, a precious stone. I've seen more things that are precious, more impressive. The Hope Diamond's a lot smaller, and I like it just as much. Give me Cartier or Van Cleef and Arpels any day. That said, as I said, I enjoyed the experience. But I do not appreciate the experience of turning LACMA into a circus. Let's face it, that's what this was. It was a circus parade from Riverside to LACMA. That's not what an encyclopedic museum is supposed to be about. That looking, all right, again, returning to this, the issue of the economics of it.
You might say that's for your rebuttal, okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right. Okay. Your rebuttal.
Oh, I got so much out of the big schlep. I loved it. I mean, it does my heart good to know that we could raise $10 million in Los Angeles to do something so absurd as to take rock off the desert and move it to LA over a 2-week period. I mean, I can, for years, I'll be happy about that. I mean, it just warms my heart to know that something like that is possible. And I was impressed, I was totally impressed with what they had to do to get it there. I went out to the quarry and saw the vehicle that they had built, and I mean, it was an amazing effort by a huge team of people, and they did it beautifully. It took fucking a long time. I got tired of waiting for it, and I got bored waiting for it, and so did Pitt, and so did Tulsa, and we gave up on writing about it for that. But, it happened, and could we turn the lights off? I got a little more time to show some of the slides. What does it do? The lights, please. Good. It challenges the conventional institutions of connoisseurship and collectibles. It does not have to be bought at Christie's to justify its value. It cannot be sold. It's free all of the time. You can go there at night. It's cool. Next slide. It redefines the meaning of timelessness and permanent installation. Most granite is from the Precambrian era, which makes it about 700 million years old. And this baby is going to be here after the museum is gone. It's not going anywhere. I just think it's amazing, and I'm glad it happened. That's all I got.
You may be right about that, and that I think I'll leave for the wrap up. But yes, indeed, it may be here after the museum is gone, which points up to what all of this is in the context of our sadly declining civilization. And that is what, let's face it, what this is really a folly. A folly. That's not a bad thing. Follies are fabulous things. I adore follies. As anyone who has been to England or Germany or France knows, folly is like a sort of architectural, slightly theatricalized small building or sculpture that is placed in a garden, that it makes for an object of curiosity or novelty or intrigue. And frankly, that is of a piece with the museum experience. The museum itself may be a large folly in the context of civilization. But again, is that my time?
Yeah.
It's about economics. Can I just one word?
Yes.
Follies, masterpieces. We have a choice here. And it's a choice that we need to make for the living here and now.
30-second wrap-up. Let's start. Okay?
Okay, I don't know if I have a wrap up. I guess,
Well, try to get that.
well, where's Jesse Helms when I need him? I mean, if Jesse Helms was here, he would so be on your side. Then what would you do? You'd be in big trouble. I don't know.
That's asking for it.
All right. Yeah. Ready to do your closing statement?
I guess I would just reiterate. I mean, I think it's a successful piece. I don't think $10 million in the bigger scheme of things is. I mean, we pay $60 million for an average Francis Bacon. I don't think there'd be a controversy about that. I have a hard time getting upset about $10 million. I mean, when I look at the excesses that are going on within that context, it's just hard for me to. I'm more interested in the piece. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, let me go back really quickly. I did a brief sort of economics on this, the cost factors. I was inspired by Christopher Knight's mention, he referenced Yves Tanguy, and it was on the front page of the Los Angeles Times. I couldn't have been more delighted. So I just checked out a few auction records for sort of an encyclopedic range of art. I took Tanguy, Lorenzo Lotto, that's a sort of Rococo, high Renaissance painter, Ingres, Greuze, and Frangelico, and Villacroix. And I found that you could get half a dozen of these masterpieces for roughly between $10 and $20 million. Now, let's go back to the museum experience. It may all be a folly. It may all be a wash. But you're looking for an experience of wonder, of curiosity. We may get it with this rock, but wouldn't you rather have another half dozen opportunities? And what is the mission of the museum? All right, I'm through. All right, it's fun.
All right, time to vote now. Ezrha Jean Black.